So the question is, should I use manure? Should I use wheat straw? Should I use regular straw in my garden? Well, if we read all the old homesteading books and gardening books, it tells us to use them. I've used them in the past, but there's one word that changes everything, and it's contamination. That's right, contamination. Nowadays, we have selective herbicides that changes the game, and I'll explain why. There's a couple selective herbicides out there, in particular, that we're going to talk about today that changes the game. One of them, and now what I'm mentioning here, is the active ingredients. One of them is called Clopyralid, and the other one is called Picloram. Both of these are widely used selective herbicides that causes problems in compost, in manures, in wheat straw, barley straw, alfalfa, and other hays that we feed to our animals. So we got to be real careful what we feed out of them, as what we can do with the manures and the compost we make off the byproducts. To give you an example, these particular herbicides, Clopyralid, which is used mainly in the turfgrass industry and used in spraying some cold crops, broccolis, collards, things like that, but primarily it's used in the lawn care industry where they spray lawn, kill the weeds, and the city or whoever comes back and gets those compost, those clippings, and makes compost out of those products, and that particular chemical is carried throughout the process and can end up in your garden. The other one, Picloram, is used primarily as a herbicide on hayfields and on pastures to kill broadleaf weeds to make the pastures weed free. The problem is they carry over too. To give you an example, Picloram. So if I buy hay from a farmer that has sprayed Picloram on his pasture, and I bring it in and I feed it to old Ringo right here, and it goes through Ringo's system and comes out as donkey manure, and I collect that donkey manure and put it on my garden, I can get damage. That chemical can pass through that process at parts per million that I get significant damage in my garden. So we got 3 different avenues that we can get damage from with these chemicals. Manures, as we collect them fresh out of the lot to put in our garden. Compost, both of these chemistries can live through the composting process, which is scary. Or hay, if we buy hay, feed it to our animals, pass through the process, same thing, we get ill effects in our garden. The damage in your garden from these compounds and these chemicals, the plants will have a cupping effect. Those leaves will cup upwards. The plant's going to wither away and die and just look terrible and not produce. Tomatoes, peppers, and a lot of the other plants are extremely sensitive to these compounds I've talked about. So you want to make sure that you get your hay, your wheat straw, your barley straw, your alfalfa, all your feeds, your compost, and your manures that you may get from your neighbor, wherever, are free and clear of these chemicals. And I'm going to go over these chemicals with you. Clopyralid is the first one that's mainly used in the lawn care industry. It's sold by 2 different trade names. One of them is Lawn Trail, and the other one is Stinger. Now the other chemical we talked about, which is Picloram. Picloram is the actual ingredient. It mostly goes by Grazon, which is a very popular chemical a lot of farmers and ranchers use to spray their hay fields and their pastures with. It can also be sold by the name Tordon. So it's important to ask those questions when you're getting these supplies. Have they been sprayed and what they have been sprayed with? It's going to save you a lot of heartache down the road. So there you have it. Us helping you to be successful at growing your own food, Hoss Tools.